Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. All right. I want you to think about this for a minute because so many of us have been here or are here right now. It's 1 o'clock in the morning and you swore you'd be asleep by 11, but TikTok is still scrolling and you keep saying to yourself, okay, I'll get off just after one more video, just one more video. Sound familiar? Well, you're not alone. So today we're talking about bedtime procrastination, or what the Chinese coined the phrase back in 2014, revenge bedtime procrastination. So I thought that this was a really appropriate time to talk about the whole issue of sleep, because we are recording this in August and people are getting ready to go back to school, back to the September and the mid to late August routines of school and homework, and parents are getting back into a little bit of a different schedule from summer. And you may be a little bit more rigid about having to get your sleep, or knowing you have to get your sleep, and thinking about, all right, like kids got to get to bed earlier. We got to get back into that routine. So this is a really appropriate time to start talking again about sleep, which I talk about all the time on the podcast, but this is a specific episode about sleep because I talk with my clients about it every single day. It comes up in some capacity with coaching and therapy clients.
Nice.
So
where does revenge come from?
Oh, I'm going to get into it.
Where's
That's
the twist? Because it just sounds...
Right. When I first read about it, I'm like, what are they talking about? I'm going to tell you what it is, okay? So here's a quick statistic. Over half of U.S. adults, 51% of adults, admit they regularly push their bedtime past exhaustion just to feel in control of their day. So there you go. We're getting a little bit now into what revenge is about. So there you go. 51% of U.S. adults, they push bedtime. We push it. We know we, air quote, should be sleeping. We should have turned the lights out, or we should have put our phone down 2 hours ago, an hour ago, and here we are still awake. But why are we doing it? Why are we all doing it? We're going to get into it, okay? So what is it? What exactly is it? It's so different from that you can't sleep or insomnia. This is not about insomnia. This is you or me or all of us voluntarily delaying our sleep despite knowing the consequences. We are voluntarily staying up in order to carve out personal time for ourselves. So now you all know what I'm talking about. Oh, okay, I know what that is because I'm familiar with it, or I know people who do it. So the Chinese coined it, the phrase, on their social media app. I think it was called Weibo back in 2014. All right. So it's distinct from general insomnia because the battle isn't that you can't sleep. It's that you won't give up your autonomy. You could sleep, but it's the one time in the 24-hour period of a day that you have time alone, that you are in control of your life.
Yeah.
So that's saying a lot, I think.
Well, it might not be that you are just having time alone. It might just be that you're having time that you're not running 100 miles an hour.
Yep.
Like this might be the only time that you have been able to pause or stop. Right?
There you go.
Because we're so overprogrammed. We always used to say, oh, the kids are overprogrammed. No, it's everybody.
We are too.
Yeah. Your work life and your personal life, there's no line anymore with that. There isn't.
I think since COVID, with so many of us being hybrid or remote.
Yeah.
Well, even if you go to the office, I think about like people I know who work 5 days again back in the office. Some of them, when they leave it there. But I feel like most they're on their laptops. They try not to be on the weekends. Because I talked to my coaching clients about this. Like, all right, what are we going to do to get you off that laptop and not taking texts or calls on a Saturday and a Sunday? You've got to have that time to yourself. Well, I know, but this has got to get done. There's a deadline on Tuesday morning and I got to fly out. I got to be here. I got to be there. And that is much of why coaching people come to me. But it comes into the therapy as well, because there's a lack of self-care that's going on around it. And the pressure they feel to be getting work done or to be responding in an air quote appropriate amount of time. So what happens is, and I say, wait, can it not wait for 2 hours? Really, no, I don't think so, Anna. So what happens is it's midnight and they know they're tired and they have to get up at 6 because they've got to feed the kids or feed the dog and get ready for work. And they say, I know I'm going to be exhausted they have bags under their eyes, and they're feeling it.
Yeah.
But they want that time at midnight to be on their phone because it's them time.
Is this like a spoken out loud expectation by their employer? Or is that their perceived expectation?
The employer's not going to ever speak to you about your sleep.
No, but I'm talking about like you need to like be up at 10, 11, 12, 1, doing this or that because I need to have you. I don't know that
I think it's covert. I think there are expectations. I think that your employer doesn't care what you do, how you do it. You need to get it done. And so sometimes maybe it's the employer, sometimes it's the employee, it's the entrepreneur, it's the high performer. Sometimes a high performer has lost or not been able to figure out how to manage all the expectations in their lives, and they're struggling with boundaries. I always think it comes back to boundaries. And that's what this episode, at the end of the day, is once again about, is really setting up those personal and professional boundaries for yourself.
Yeah.
Because they feel that there's judgment or how it's going to look. I mean, I could talk for hours about that.
I mean, I've seen it where...
You don't seem convinced by the look on your face.
I'm not convinced because I think there's a time management part of this, right? Mm-hmm. I think that factors into this. I think I've seen it where there have been supervisors or managers that have reached out at weird times, inappropriate times, asking for this or that to our family members, right?
Sure.
But not all the time. I don't see that as much as I see people just deciding either to do it or because they mismanaged their time during the day. Now it's like, well, now it's crunch time. Now I have to do it.
Yeah.
Right. Like I didn't get it done.
Right. It's a time management
I think that it's a little bit of all this.
And even for like the stay-at-home moms or for the stay-at-home dads, life is busy and they find that nighttime is their time to themselves. It's their time for their quiet, their therapeutic time.
Yeah.
And for many people, it is like being vegetative, not using your brain and just mindlessly scrolling. And hey, I mindlessly scroll, but because of all of this information and knowledge and research, I don't do it at night anymore. So I'll get into what I've done. I'm going to give you all some power moves. So stay to the end of the episode so you can listen to my power moves, because one of them is what I have employed and have been doing it now for probably at least a year and a half. And it has been game changing for me. I did a 10-minute TikTok on it a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Game changing. So I'm going to tell you what I have done, because I'm right here with all of you. I mean, that's one thing that we always say on the podcast is that, I'm not better than you. I know things differently because this is my jam. This is what I read. This is what I research. This is what I have worked hard to put into practice in my personal life, as well as in my professional life, but more my personal life. I'm bringing all of that to you. So I'm sharing with you what I have done because I know what it's like. I discovered TikTok during COVID when we were at home, and I've talked about that. And at first it was those silly dances, and I love pranks and humor, and I used to laugh on there, just wasting time because there was nothing else really going on.
Right.
My practice went down to almost 20%. Everybody thought that this would be over in a couple of months. I'll see you back in the office, because that was when I had my office. And come May, we all realized this wasn't ending anytime soon. And my practice went right back up. But there were a couple of months there from March through like May or June when I was not working. And that was when I got on TikTok, and I'm still on it. And now I'm on it for myself. Now I'm posting quite a bit. But there's a ton of therapists on there. There's a ton of coaches on there. And I actually do learn from it. Sometimes I'm on there for fun stuff. But still, it doesn't matter what it is. You can just find yourself like, oh my gosh, this is a time suck. I have got to get off here.
Yeah. We
do it at night.
Can we pull the curtain back just to give a little context on how our world goes for a second? So like you and I, we get up early. There's things to do. We have a full day of work, whatever that means. Right. Each day is a little bit different. We get home. Maybe there was fitness that happened in the morning. Maybe there wasn't. Maybe there was fitness that happened at lunchtime. Maybe there wasn't. Maybe we have to do it at night. Maybe we don't. Right?
Right.
There's all of that. And then there's going to be this gap of time somewhere between 5 o'clock and 8. Right. And it's not always 5 to 8. Sometimes it's 6 to 9, or there's about a 2.5 to 3 hour gap of time. And you and I decide subconsciously, we don't talk about it, we don't plan it out, but we decide how we're going to fill it. Right.
Yeah. Right.
There's dinner. There's the dog walk. There's maybe watching a show, Maybe there's fitness. I mean, it just depends, right?
Right.
And so all of the time throughout the entire day, you can make an argument that neither you nor I have had this personal, private, quiet time. Just you, just me.
Right.
Maybe not. Probably not. And so all of a sudden it gets to be, air quotes, time to go to bed. And it's like 8:00, 8:30. It's shifted over the last 18 years, right, that we've been together. But it's shifted to the point now where it's like, it's consistently, it's 8, it's 9, somewhere in there. And then there's this moment of like, ooh, I want to have like this, I just want to do what I want to do just for a second. Whether it's you reading a book or you're online reading an article, same with me. There's a moment where you just like,
on YouTube,
you crave it, right? You crave those moments. And I think what you're saying is that that's okay, but don't let that just go. And then all of a sudden you turn around and you're like, oh my gosh, it's 11:30. That's exactly what
this whole episode is about.
Yeah. But we live that exact scenario.
Well, we live it too.
Yeah.
And I'm going to share with you what I have done to make some small behavioral changes, because there's no judgment here. As always, you can still do what you want to do. You can still be on social media. We're just going to talk about tweaking some of your behaviors.
Manage it.
Which I have done.
Yeah.
Which has been really helpful for me. And one thing, it was interesting. We have also backed off a little bit on not just hours and hours of watching our shows that we love. You know, like we could go for hours watching Yellowstone or hours watching The Bear, whatever it is we're watching. I mean, you could just next. And so I got back on Hulu because The Bear, we love The Bear. Season 3 came back up. So I got back on Hulu because I was on all of the TV channels, basically. What, I don't know how you say it, but I'm dating myself saying this. I had all the apps up, all the streaming devices, Hulu, HBO, all of them, Paramount. And what I have been doing is, so we're watching The Bear, but I have the $11 one. I don't have the $18 one. We're watching so there's commercials. I think the $17 or $18, $19 one on Netflix is no commercials. I'm like, forget it. I'm not doing that. So we do the $11 one. So when the commercials come up, that's when I go on TikTok. I mute the TV and that's what I get on Instagram and TikTok, because I have like a minute and a half or 2 minutes. I'm like, fine. This is annoying to watch the commercial. That's what I get on social media. So that has been helpful, actually.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's get into a little bit of the weeds of why do we do this? Like, what's the psychology behind why we are doing this revenge bedtime procrastination, which is only kicking ourselves in the butt? So number one, there is an autonomy deprivation for all of us. Okay. So that basically is everything we've been talking about. We have these packed days, and it's triggering this psychological reaction in all of us. So night becomes the only time that's a negotiable territory for us. So that's exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
And so many people who are watching and listening, I know you all agree with me. I knew a woman who worked full time, it's a corporate job, and it was something we always talked about. It was a bane of her existence. She was always exhausted. She had these terrible, you looked at her, you knew she was exhausted. Bags under her eyes. She just was, and we would work on this behavior change. And she really struggled with it because she said, Anna, it's the only time. First of all, she's a night owl. So she said, I like to stay up till 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. Yes, but you have to get up at 6 a.m. now. You have children. You have this full-time corporate job. So we had to really, really work on moving her back to doing everything she likes to do at night when it's quiet, but doing it so that she's in bed and sleeping by 11 versus 12 or 1. We actually went back in 15-minute increments. Before she had children, she could do it because she would say the kids are in bed, like say 8 or 8:30. It's really quiet where they're really not getting back up for a glass of water or coming out of bed, because there's that whole routine that the little ones will do where you really are able to just settle down for the night and be alone and with your thoughts and with yourself. And so we really had to get her 15 minutes back, 15 minutes back, 15 minutes back. And that was a real effort for her because she so craved that time of night where she felt that she was alone, because all day long she was answering to her bosses, her colleagues, putting out fires at work and parenting small children.
Yeah.
So that was, I get that. And I really, really could empathize with that feeling.
And morning's not really, for somebody like this that you're describing, is not really an option.
She could barely get up in the morning.
Right.
She could barely get up. That alarm had to get her up, but the kids got her up. But she knew, and she said to me, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
I'm fueling with caffeine, coffee, sodas all throughout the day, high sugar, just really not a great lifestyle to power herself through because she was exhausted. And then she was eating crap at 3 p.m. in the afternoon because she'd had that slump and it was sugar, sugar, sugar. And so she'd really gotten herself unwittingly into this not good, not sustainable cycle. It was like this feedback loop, negative feedback loop that she was in. So it helped her get out of it. All right. So autonomy depletion.
Just think about like the difference between like getting up and getting into your day versus winding your day down. Because those are the two options of time that you can choose to do what we're talking about.
Right.
If you do it at night, most likely, depending upon your situation, it might be a little different, but most likely you're going into quiet time or entering into downtime. You're entering into like sleep and all of those things.
Right.
In the morning, you're entering into chaos. Right.
Yeah,
if you have little kids, it's unpredictable.
Right.
Like you don't know if somebody's going to get up early or somebody's going to have an accident, whatever. Anything can go wrong in the morning. It's less likely that you could pull this off in the morning.
You can, though.
You can.
I've had clients who have pulled it off.
You can, but it's less likely.
You can.
Yeah.
Okay. Another reason why we do this is ego depletion. So, I'm going to talk about ego. The self-control, our self-control wanes after a decision-heavy workday where I said you're putting out fires and you're making little micro decisions all throughout the day. You're making decisions. You don't even realize you're making decisions. No matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, you're making decisions all day long. So at night, our resistance is lowered to screens and sugar. And sugar is important because this is when we tend to overeat at night too. So we're looking at our screens and we're eating crappy stuff we know we shouldn't be eating, but it tastes good. The texture feels good. It's all very soothing. This is soothing stuff for us because we have been making decisions all day long and you always have to be in control, always have to be in control, always have to be in control. At night, there comes a time when the human body and mind and psyche are not meant for this. This is what we do. We get in our phones, we get the ice cream out, we get the chips out, the crappy processed crap that everybody's talking about today with Make America Healthy Again. We all know the dyes, but we know it all. We all do know this, really.
Yeah.
And why do we do it? Why are we doing it? That's the deeper question. Why are we all doing it? And it's a rhetorical question. We're not going to answer it. You all know. I want you to think about this for yourselves. Why are you doing this? Okay. Number 3, why are we doing it is we got this digital dopamine loop that we're in. You all know I'm going to talk about dopamine in this episode as well. So this infinite scrolling, it's designed to hijack our reward circuitry. I talked about this a couple episodes back. So it is designed to do this. So make no mistake, all of us, the apps are designed this way. They know the psychology of how the human mind and brain works. It's designed to keep us on there. What it's designed to do is extend our wake times. They want us awake. They want us. Who's they? Well, I'd say tech. The brains behind it. They want us staying up. They want us on our phones. They want us in that app. They see how much time we're spending in there.
Yeah.
In Facebook and on Snapchat. They know what we're doing. And they're studying us and they want to, and I don't mean, I'm not a conspiracy person at all. And I'm not a paranoid person. And it's true. They are looking at our behavior. I mean, I personally, I don't care. I'm fine
factual.
with it. I mean, it's true.
We know it is.
Yeah. So they have designed it that we're in this digital dopamine loop that we get in. Okay. So that's another reason why. Number 4, low efficacy and stress. So we have low confidence when we are on our phones at night, especially, and just spending hours and hours knowing I really got to get off. I shouldn't be on here. We have low confidence in what our next day is going to look like. So it brings our stress levels up deep inside of us, which I think we don't always realize our stress is going up. Some of you do realize, I got to get off here. I've got this day tomorrow. So in a way, we're like, oh, F it. I don't really care. We just resign to the fact that I'm going to have low efficacy tomorrow. I'm going to have low self-agency tomorrow. And oh, well, we just resigned ourselves to it. Self-sabotage, we know it, and yet we still do it. And the last reason why we're doing all this with this revenge bedtime procrastination is this hustle narrative. Now, this has changed a little bit. Well, I think it's changed more than a little bit. I think it's changed quite a bit. And we still have I'll sleep when I'm dead, sleep is for the weak, glamorizes, sacrifice, and it blurs the self-care boundaries. Now, I did talk about this more 10, 15, 20 years ago with clients. I don't speak of it a lot now because most people know sleep is the most important thing. I think people agree. And I know sleep is important. I know that. So we got to work on getting me off my phone. And it's really hard because I'm addicted to it. But I know that sleep is the most important thing. I know sleep is my medicine. This is what I need to do. So when I read that, I'm like, yeah, okay, maybe, I don't know, maybe in China, maybe in other countries, you could sleep when you're dead. I think that's an attitude. But I think in most countries, most people realize how important it is. It's just, we know it in our minds. We're just not behaving in a way that is conducive to us having better sleep hygiene.
Yeah. And the person you're describing, I think you should say it too. It's like, okay, we know it. We also were the ones that didn't behave that way 25 years ago. Right?
Yes, it's true.
Like we accepted that.
That was me. Big time.
Right. But
Big time.
now we're in that demographic where it's like there's been this massive shift versus growing up in this, right? Like if you're 20, you don't know the other. You've never lived it. You never experienced it.
Well, culturally, we all know the importance of sleep. Podcasts is the medium today that most people are going to for their information and their news.
Yeah.
And you can't get through any sort of health and fitness, even mental health, mental wellness, coaching podcast without somebody talking about the importance of sleep. I mean, I think we all know.
Yeah.
How
rest and recovery. Yeah. Those are
mostly
big things.
Rest and recovery. I think of that more for athletes. I think we can't get through anything in the medium of social media or media today without knowing the importance of sleep. And it did change. It did change at least 10 years ago, because I would talk to my clients who come to my office about, so I'd have somebody coming in and I'm evaluating them for a clinical depression. And I would say, this is mostly to my depressed clients, we can't even begin to work on doing the psychotherapy around your depression until we get your sleep managed, because it sort of goes without saying that people who deal with depression, clinical depressions, or even situational depressions, where it's not a clinical diagnosis, they will have poor sleep patterns, maybe go to sleep late at night, wake up early in the morning, not sleeping enough. Oversleeping is a real problem with people with a clinical depression. And I would say, I can't do psychotherapy with you until we, first of all, look at your sleep. And number two, you may need an evaluation for medication. And I remember this one client said to me, she was like, Anna, you're like the sleep Nazi. I'm like, yeah. And I would say,
sort of.
And then I would say it to my clients after that, and they would chuckle, because underscoring the importance of their getting sleep. If you're not getting sleep, we're going to really struggle with working on your depression and your anxiety, or whatever it is you're dealing with your mental health. We got to get that sleep down. I have one client who I saw her all through college, and she has an anxiety disorder. And we did taught her all the skills to work on her anxiety. And that sleep was still not great. You know, I saw her for years, and she's like, I know, Anna. Like, I'll say her name's Sue. You know, Sue, your anxiety got a lot better, actually, but it would flare up and she'd have really bad anxiety attacks. I say, but you got to get back to that sleep. We got to get you sleeping at regular hours and not sleep. And then she'd sleep through the day. She'd miss her classes in college. She couldn't wake up. She'd miss her therapy sessions with me. She'd be exhausted. I'm like, oh. And I would text her, wake up. I knew her. I saw her for years. Wake up. She's like, oh my God, I'm getting on now on Zoom. I'm getting on now. And so it was real. Sleep was a real issue for people.
Yeah.
You know, she'd get on, and sometimes we had 40 minutes. Sometimes she had 10 minutes left of the session with me. Like, okay, come on. You know, you're paying a lot of money to see me. She's like, I know. But we want to see each other. We want to talk to each other. We want the session.
Yeah.
For her, it was truly like knowing how important sleep is for her, and knowing that if she could get that sleep, her anxiety would go down. And then it did improve, and her anxiety went way down. And I said to her, did you realize, have you seen over the past this whole school year, you've been going to bed at a more regular hour.
Yeah.
You've been going to bed at 11 and waking up at 7 or 8.
Did she connect the dots? I mean, was she like, oh, wow.
Did. Yeah, she did. And she was getting, and at that time she was getting into graduating from college and taking on a full-time job. And that was her real focus in her senior year was, I've got to get the sleep under control, because I know I'm going to have a 9-to-5er next year, whether it be hybrid, remote, or I'm going to be in an office 5 days a week. I know I've got to get the sleep under control. Yeah, she really knew, but she really had almost, I wouldn't say it was kind of like a sleep disorder. I think for her, it was more behavioral. She really worked on it, but it was hard for her. So this is to say that, you know, sleep is a really big deal for some people. It's really hard because she's a night owl. She loves being awake at 1 o'clock in the morning. She loves the quiet. She loves the silence. She loves knowing everybody around her is sleeping and that sort of the world is shut down and it's dark, she finds that to be very soothing. So we had to find ways of replacing that and doing it at an earlier hour so that at 1 a.m. she was no longer awake scrolling on her phone, but that she was sleeping.
Yeah.
So, okay. All right. So who is most at risk for this revenge sleep deprivation? Number one, Gen Z and millennials. They have high screen times. And this person's a later Gen Z, earlier millennial. High screen times. They're the ones who their gig economy is unpredictability. They love the unpredictability of being on social media. They're more willing to take risks. So they're the ones who are mostly at risk of moving into the sleep. So once you have a sleep deprivation, you've got a debt. It's going to take some time to put deposits back into your bank account, your sleep bank account, to get you back into the black. You're going on months and months, maybe years of being in the red. Okay. And there is some controversy around you can't spend the weekends making up for the sleep debt you developed from the week before. I know, like Matthew Walker talks about, there's other sleep experts that talk about this. I think Andrew Huberman speaks of it. People say, well, I can just spend the weekend. I can sleep in on Saturday and Sunday. I don't know. I don't know if that works. And I'm not a sleep expert. So you'd have to look that up.
Well, I think we've proven it hasn't worked. Because remember, my job, we're talking a few years ago, I was at work at 4:45 every morning, right? So my clock went off at 4 and I should have been in bed by 9, right? I'm just working backwards on the math. Never happened. I mean, lucky if I was in bed.
Never did.
You and I talked about this openly. You are operating at a deficit.
It worried me. You worried me.
For far too long, right?
I was seeing clients in my office, and this was a common issue and everyday conversation with all of my clients, coaching and therapy. And yet at the same time, you never seem tired. You're always up and at them and go all day long. Yeah, it was crazy. You were gone before 5 a.m. But if you sat down at night to watch a show, you'd fall asleep.
Lights out. Yeah.
Yeah. But then you were doing triathlon training and you were a triathlete yourself at the time, like crazy workouts, but you would not make it through a show. And I remember I'd get irritated with you. I just would get impatient because I wanted to sit and watch a show with you. And I knew I'd look over and you'd be sleeping. And we did wonder, Tim. I did wonder if that had anything to do with why you got lymphoma at the age that you did in this great health triathlete and you had lymphoma, cancer diagnosis. I remember thinking, I don't know if it caused it, but I don't know if your sleep debt contributed to you getting sick. And the doctors, the oncologist asked you, were you tired? Did you ever feel tired? And you're like, I always feel this way.
Yeah.
And I think that was your baseline. That was your normal. It wouldn't be normal for me or the doctors or anybody else.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know. I always wondered about that with you.
And then remember, we'd try and take a nap on the weekends just to support what you're saying. We're like, oh, we'll just take a nap. You'll be good. Then you can get some of that sleep time, rest time back. And then you should be good to go again on Monday. No, that was silly.
No, maybe you thought that. I knew that wasn't going to work. And you'd fall into these deep, deep sleeps and you're groggy and the circadian rhythm's all messed up. Yeah. Okay. So who else is most at risk? I said Gen Z and millennials. Number 2 is parents of young kids. Yeah. I mean, and I remember this. Parents of young kids.
Which you could make an argument could be Gen Z and millennials.
Yeah, millennials. Millennials right now are really feeling it. And some Gen Xers.
Yeah.
Daytime caregiving, there's a squeeze there. I mean, the me time tax at night. Late night is the me time tax. And we are willing to put off our sleep in order to do what we want to do. So I'm talking about being on the phone a lot here because that's what so many of us in the world are doing. But maybe it's also time to make phone calls to your friends. Maybe it's a time when you want to get into your hobby. Maybe you want to do crafting or you're painting. And you really ought to be going to bed. Like, I love doing this. And I love that for you, that you want to paint or you want to be doing looking at your pictures and organizing. Maybe you're making a photo album for somebody. I love that for you. And I want that for you. And I want you to do it. Not at midnight on a Tuesday night, because you now are waking up at 7 a.m. with little ones and you're going to be exhausted. So that's the thing, is that we're willing to do it because we just want to be alone, because the kids are sleeping and no one's mommy. You don't know as a mom, as the dad, but as a mom, it's like you have to lock the bathroom door. They're in the bathroom when you're little. The dogs are in there. The babies, the toddlers, the kids, the teenagers are in there. Even now, my son comes home. I'm in the bathroom. He's like, Mom, he's 24 years old. Mom, I'm like, I'm in the bathroom. And he's like, oh, okay, whatever. And he's like, I'll close my, this is what happens. This is a theme. Okay, so this is something about our family, like, and it's been a lot of families. This is like a theme about boundaries. I'm like, oh my gosh, like a door is like half shut, the bedroom door. I'm like getting dressed, I have a bra and pants, whatever, and he comes up the stairs. I don't hear him coming up. Maybe I'm listening to a podcast. I got my AirPods in, and he's like, Mom, and I'm like, I'm not dressed. He's like, I'll close my eyes. Or he's like, I'll turn around, because he wants to talk to me right then and right there about something. I'm like, can you wait? You see it all the time.
Absolutely.
Or you and I are both in there, and he's like, and I'm like, I'm not dressed. And he's like, I'll just turn around. So there you go. It doesn't end. So I totally get it why when we have little ones, though, and it's needy of you all day long, especially moms and maybe dads, you're just like, I just want quiet. I don't want one more person to talk to me.
Right.
So I get that. So you all are really high at risk. The knowledge workers with these boundaryless remote schedules, we talked about earlier. That's how we started off. There's no boundaries. These remote schedules. You're the ones who are going to be also on at night because maybe nobody's texting you or bugging you with an email. So this is your time to be alone, or maybe spend hours and hours and hours working on your craft, something you enjoy doing. And then students, and it's interesting, high school, all students in education, and medical trainees, which is interesting that came up when I was doing my research.
Medical trainees.
Well, there's academic pressure and perfectionism. So there's this pressure and this issue, or this idea about I got to be perfect. And there was a 2024 study that linked revenge, bedtime procrastination to actual lower GPA scores in medical students in the United States. So there you go. You're on it late at night because it's the only time you can get your me time.
Yeah.
But that it's affecting your scores in medical students. I mean, they broke this up, but really I think it's all of us. So here are the consequences of being on our phones. It's revenge bedtime. You're supposed to be sleeping. You're doing something different. Most of us, it's on our phones. Our mental health, number one. Mental health is being affected. You have a 2 to 3 time risk of depression and anxiety symptoms. Okay. So you've got 2 to 3 times elevated risk of developing some sort of depressive disorder, a mood disorder is what we call it, or an anxiety, maybe not anxiety disorder, but anxiety symptoms. That alone is worth it. That's from sleep medicine research. That alone is worth changing behavior around being on your phone late at night or doing something late at night when you air quote should be sleeping. Number 2, there's a cognitive cost. I think we know this already. I don't even need to tell you all. The cognitive cost, attention lapse, memory fog, slower executive functioning. I know I've had that.
Yeah.
I totally have had all this. In my younger years, in college, and in the earlier years in the 20s after, when I would work crazy hours and then go out with my coworkers to happy hour, and there's also alcohol involved, drinking, or staying up late at night watching a show back then. You DVR like Friends or whatever show was, ER, and I'd watch that. I was going to bed late, and I knew, and I would get myself to the hospital at 8 a.m. This is before I started my practice. This is my 20s, my earlier to mid 20s. And I was exhausted. And I was doing the coffee, then the Diet Cokes, and then the cookies or the sugar at 3 o'clock. Every single day I did this. I gained weight. I stopped working out. I was exhausted all the time. I was drinking too much alcohol. The 20s of doing it, it wasn't good.
Yeah.
So there you go.
All those little sugar spikes.
And it's just one thing at a time.
Yeah.
It's just another cup of coffee.
Right.
It's staying up 1 hour later. It's going to the gift shop in the hospital and getting myself one of those amazing Carol's cookies that we have here in Chicago, which are behemoths. And they're expensive, but I didn't care. I felt that I air quote deserved it because I was tired and I was working my ass off and I deserved that cookie. It all kind of runs into each other.
Right.
And then there's no way I wasn't going out with the ER staff or the pediatric team because I loved all of them, or the residents. We all got along so well. So of course I was going to Lakeview Links in Wrigleyville to watch ER. We'd go to watch ER. Or I wasn't, somewhere in Wrigleyville or somewhere in Old Town or Lincoln Park. Of course I was going to go. I wanted to go have a drink. I love these people.
Yeah.
So there you go. So there was a cognitive cost. Number 3, I went into it already, the physical health, but there's an increased cardiovascular risk if you're not getting your sleep, and there's obesity risk and immune suppression. So you may find you're getting sick more. This is the physical piece, and the crappy eating, which I just mentioned for myself, there's increased risk of developing obesity. And then there's a relationship strain. irritability and diminished empathy for others, you know that I gotta be sleeping and I'm not sleeping. And you just get irritable with people around you. And you're like, I have no time to listen to your problems. We lack empathy. I mean, this is my jam, what it does to relationships. There's this conflict resolution that we struggle with doing. We have conflict and we struggle with resolving it because we have a very low bar for dealing with anybody else in our lives if we're not sleeping. I can't talk to you. I can't listen to you. And actually, you're annoying me right now.
It's true.
People who aren't getting their sleep can be like bears, right?
Yeah, 100%.
You've seen me that way.
Yeah, totally.
The time you made me wake up at 3:00 in the morning to drive 10 hours to my parents in DC, or the time that we had to get up at 3 a.m. to take Samantha to the airport in Venice. And I was a raving bitch because she had to get an early flight because she's studying abroad. We were in Italy visiting my family, but she was in Madrid and we had to get her to the airport in Venice. Right. We had to wake up at like 3 a.m. And I think we stayed up till midnight. Of course, my Italian family eating. We don't eat till 10. We're eating and drinking. You go to bed. My stomach was so full, and I didn't want to be rude and didn't want to leave everybody and go to bed because I would look like a weirdo. So I stayed up, and then we had to get up 3 hours later. You were fine. Samantha was fine. She could have slept in the plane. And we dropped her off. Nothing was open. I think it was like 5 a.m. Remember driving down the autostrada? Yeah. We stopped off at this town on the autostrada. I think it was the A4. What was the town? It was Soave. Soave. There's a Pinot Grigio. It's here in the United States. It's Soave. And that's the town that makes that wine, Soave. And there's this medieval castle that is along the autostrada. So we got off there. It was a day after Easter. That's what it was, because it's Pasquetta in Italy. And we went to this medieval castle. We parked in their little parking lot, which wasn't open yet, for another 3 hours. And you were talking to me. And I remember I was so exhausted. I was being so bitchy to you. The last thing I wanted to do was talk to you or talk to anybody. I would put the seat back. We're in a car, parked in the parking lot. I put the seat all the way back. I'm like, get out of the car. Get out of the car. Just get out of here. Get out of here. Because I needed to sleep. And you got out, you took your camera and you walked around the castle, which is closed, the outskirts of it in the town. Yes. And you took pictures. And I'm like, fine, just leave, go. But you had to leave 4 hours. Yeah. And I woke up, I slept for at 9 o'clock in the morning.
It all worked out great.
It worked out fine. Yeah. And I woke up to watching all these Italians with their picnic baskets walking up a hill, the steep hill. Because I'm like, oh, it's Pasquetta. It's a national holiday. Everybody has a day off and everybody's picnicking or having these amazing meals that they're cooking. So that's a good example of you don't get your sleep, you can be a bear. That was extreme, but this is what it does to a lot of us. If we don't get our sleep, but many of us are functioning this way. We're functioning in irritability. We're functioning in, I have no time for you. I can't even be sympathetic towards you and your problems at work. And I certainly have no empathy for you. I'm not putting myself in your shoes because I can barely put myself in my own shoes. Right. So leave. How do I get this person out of my office quicker? Yeah. And I do see a little bit of that. Not a lot, though, I'll have to say. Not recently. I mean, we're talking 6, 8, 10, 12 years ago. Yeah. More so than now. Now you don't really see it, I think, because now I think people just will choose to drag the start of their day. Right. Instead of going into work and presenting that way, they'll just I'm just going to drag the start of my day to start later. Yeah. And I'll stay later. But it's not as visible right now in 2025, whatever. When you're seeing people live, because you guys are all back in the office. When you see people live. Yeah, when you see people correct. Live. Okay. So I'm going to get into the power moves. These are your action steps. I'm coaching you up on this. Okay. So this is your action steps. If you want to change this, if you're listening to this and you're going, yeah, Anna's right. I agree with a lot of what she and Tim are talking about. This is me. This is my husband. This is my partner. This is my wife. These are my kids. Here are your action steps. Okay. But before I get to those action steps, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, get on a discovery call. If you're listening and you've been listening to me on here and to Tim and you think, you know what, I need this. I need therapy around this. I got something that's going on. I got some relationship issues. I'm dealing with some serious mental health. If you're in Illinois, I can be your therapist. Okay. So, deal with insurance and can give you a super bill. You can use your insurance for me in the state of Illinois where I'm licensed if you want me as your psychotherapist. If you want coaching, doesn't matter where you are in the world, I can coach you. Okay. So reach out to me, hello@annamarcolin.com. or email me there. That's my email. I'm looking at that. Okay. Or go to my website, annamarcolin.com. Check me out, read about me. I can give you references, people who have worked with me, real life people who you can email, who you can get on a phone with and talk to. So you know that I'm the real deal. I don't just talk the talk. I walk the walk. I've been doing this a long time. I know what I'm doing here. So I'm happy to help you move you to that next stage in your life if you are interested in coaching. And if you are interested in advancing your personal development, then, and you need a coach, reach out to me. Okay.
Perfect.
All right. Okay. So your power moves. Number 1, micro autonomy deposits. So what I want you to do instead, and you're going to have to write this down in your calendar, on your phone or in your paper calendar, I want you to take 2 5-minute solo breaks every day during work hours. That's going to give you some autonomy. We're going to put autonomy back into your day. So you're home with little kids, or you run a daycare, you are crazy busy. Maybe you're working outside the home and it's just busy, demanding, and you feel like you can never shut your office door, Tim, because you've always got people who are wanting in. You need to learn to shut that office door. You need to go into the bathroom, and I want you to set the timer. I want you to take 2 5-minute breaks a day, okay? Maybe you're waking up 30 minutes before the kids wake up, or your husband wakes up, or the dogs need walked. But I want you to find 2 5-minute breaks. My coaching clients, and if you've ever worked with me, you know this, I have you take 10-minute breaks, and then I have you at 30-minute breaks. And you think you can't do it? You think it's impossible? Talk to my coaching clients. They'll all say, nope, she's got me taking a 30-minute break by myself. I wake up at 5:30. I get up 5:30 to 6, and I'm sitting outside in these summer months, and I'm meditating, and I'm journaling, and I'm going for a walk. They're doing it. They're doing it. I'm going to help you get there. Okay. And I'm telling you, this can happen. I've got clients who are meditating for 10 minutes at night before bed. And these are people with children. These are people who run businesses. These are people who have 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 kids. No joke. And they're all doing it. Okay. So I know what you think seems impossible right now, taking 2 5-minute breaks. It's very possible. You've got to be intentional about it, and you got to write it down. Just like you know when you've got to make dinner, or when you've got the Zoom call that's coming on, it's exact same thing. I want you to hold it the same way. You know you've got a Zoom meeting at 10 a.m. this morning at maybe 9:50. Put that in your calendar, put that in your phone, and you take those 5-minute breaks to yourself. That's going to help you at the end of the day, because you're going to feel like, I did do some things for myself today. Okay. Number 1. Number 2, I want you to have a digital sunset. So the digital sunset is turning all of your phones and all of your technology off, I would say an hour before bed. So for those who don't have small kids at home or don't have children, I have you put your phone in your closet, or I want that phone in the bathroom. For those of you who say, I can't do it because your phone is your phone, then you can put it on your dresser. I don't want it right by your bedside table. You can hear the vibration, or if the phone rings, you can hear that. And the only reason why we have moms or dads especially do that, or if you're taking care of someone who's elderly or you're caregiving someone, is that you can hear it. You can get up and get the phone because they're texting you or they're calling you, because you need to be able to respond to that. Okay. Maybe it's Friday night, the kids are out and you're worried. Okay. I get that. So maybe you do it on Friday or Saturday nights if you've got teenagers. The point is, I want you to figure out a way an hour before bed where that phone is not next to you, and try to keep it there all night. Number 3, this is the if-then wind down. If-then. So if I'm up at 10 o'clock, then I'm going to do this. If I'm still up at midnight, then I'm going to do this. So it's like, all right, so Anna, I'm supposed to have my phone in the closet at 9 a.m., but now it's 10 o'clock and I'm still on it. I want you to do something else. So I want you to replace your phone. So if it's 10 o'clock and I'm still not in bed and I'm still on my phone, I'm going to put my phone aside. I'm going to go now and I'm going to pick up a book. I'm going to read, and I'm going to go brew myself some tea. So maybe I'm going to brew some chamomile tea, which has sleep properties in it. I'm going to pick up that book. So that means you're going to go start looking at books that you want to read, that you're interested in. Right. And you're going to read maybe a fiction or something, not something too heavy, something that's like a light summer read. So if I'm still doing it, this is what I'm going to do instead. So what that is replacement behavior.
Yeah. Okay. So you're saying if you're having trouble breaking the cycle,
or you've got one night or 2 nights, you're like, oh shoot, I'm having trouble. Yeah, I'm having trouble breaking the cycle.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to do this instead. So go put that, no judgment. It's okay. This is hard for all. Let's go put the phone over on your dresser. Go put it in your bathroom. Go make yourself some tea because you're up, and go get that book and do that instead. Okay.
And can't you can set your phone, like you can snooze the notifications, right? Like you could keep certain things active, but like you can say everything else, shut it down.
Yeah,
like,
good,
right?
Tim, you said that because I forgot to mention that, right? Yeah. So the text will still come through in the phone, but all the other notifications are silenced.
Potentially. Yeah.
Okay. Number 4, you've got this meaningful tomorrow visualization. Okay. So it's a meaningful tomorrow visualization. And I love this. I do this for myself. So I want you to take a minute, just take a minute, and I want you to visualize your next day's goals. So it's a Monday night. I want you to spend a minute visualizing, what are my goals for Tuesday? Oh, I got that. That's my goal. I'm going to get that done. I'm going to get that done. And it could be anything. I'm going to put the load of laundry in. I'm going to send that email back. I'm going to look into that trip that I keep looking into, but I'm blowing it off. I got to do it. I got to make reservations to that wedding we're going to. I'm thinking about these are little things that I will tend to blow off. When I set those as goals for myself and you get them done, what does it do? It boosts your self-control reserves. That's a good thing. So it's like autonomy, it's self-control, because what happens is when we stay up late at night, we're doing it, like I said in the beginning of the episode, to get control back. When we set these visualization goals for ourselves for the next day and we follow through, you need to follow through. There you go. You're back to agency, self-control.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the app? It's closing circles like throughout the day.
I don't know. I don't know that one.
There's something. I always say check the box, but there's another one where there's like pick something easy.
I like that one though. I mean, do write it down. I have my clients write it down and check that box. I sent that email. I looked into that vacation. I looked into that flight. I emailed that person back, the plumber. I don't want to. The things are like, don't feel like doing it. Took the laundry, put it from the wash in the dryer. I know it sounds simple and kind of dumb, but it's a big deal for people. It's just one more thing in our mental load that we have to do.
And it's something that has to get done.
Yes.
Because if not, you're going to double the work the next day. Because now you got to redo the load because it's sat overnight.
And it smells like we've done. Right? So there you go. But that gives you a sense of,
but there is something. Somebody leave it in the comments. There is something. There's
somebody, if you know the app
that
closes the circles app, put it in the comments on YouTube or
that share with all of us.
Yeah. Okay. And then the last one is, this is really important. I want you to name the need. It's 9:00. You're on your phone. You know you need to be going to sleep. What itch are you scratching? What itch are you scratching? So here we're going a little bit deeper here. Is it pleasure you're looking for? Are you looking to decompress? Are you looking for some kind of connection with another human being? What is it that you're looking for? Why are you doing this at 9 p.m.? What is it that you really need? Do you need affection? Do you need time with another person? Do you need to turn mind down? Just turn it all down. Turn the volume down of the noise in your mind. I want you to try to do that earlier in the day because you're not alone in that. We all have that. And I would say we all have that. That's okay. Find a way to meet that need earlier in the day rather than at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night. Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Really, really important. Okay. So name what it is. What are you really needing right now? I always ask that. When I'm irritable, you'll say to me, what is really going on? You say that to me, Tim. What is really going on? What do you really need right now? All right. So here is my conclusion to all of you on this issue because it's so common and I didn't even know the name of it. Revenge bedtime procrastination. Revenge bedtime procrastination, just so you all know, this is not laziness. This is not any of us being lazy. It's a boundary scream. It's almost like your sixth sense, your intuition, this deep, deep, deep part of you screaming for you to set boundaries for yourself. When daytime belongs to everybody else in your life, night becomes this last ditch effort for us to sort of like this last ditch declaration of sovereignty for ourselves. I don't mean to sound dramatic, and I think it's true. It's this last ditch effort for us to be like, I want to control me. This is me. This is a declaration of me wanting to be me and no one else, right? It's okay for you to want those boundaries. I actually would encourage you or push you to demand it for yourself. Let's do it while the sun is still up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you just answered the question,
yep.
Right? Like the question I had, what's the revenge part of this? That's it right there. I'm getting revenge on what I want, need, believe
desire,
I should have,
believe
all
I
of
should
those
have.
things. Yeah.
That's you.
This is my effort to get that.
And it's self-sabotage.
Yeah.
So we all get it. We've all been there. I've been there. You've been there. It's revenge. To whom? At what?
Yeah.
And it really is self-sabotage. So it's okay. We do it. How do we get it back? Let's do it. Let's do it during the day.
Yeah.
And let's find that time. Okay.
Don't do it. Just figure out when to do it.
So yes, when. And then the last thing I want to say is, so this was something that I was dealing with a year and a half ago. I said it in the beginning, and this is what I do. When I was a kid, I loved to read, and I've gotten away from it. And here's how I've gotten away from it. Over the years, I've gotten into watching streaming shows. I started watching The Real Housewives of New York. I really enjoyed them. I know it's like other therapists are probably laughing at me, but whatever. I don't really care because I remember my colleagues thought it was such a joke. And I'm like, well, I do watch it. And I was embarrassed to tell my colleagues because they would like just do the big eye roll. I'm like, well, I do watch it because I have 5 kids at home then. And it was something that I would do mindlessly. I'd watch Real Housewives of New York and Orange County. So I would do that. And then as the years went by and you could start streaming episode after episode after episode of other shows, you and I would do it. And we would spend 2 hours watching television at night. And then I'd go on my phone. And then I'd go on Facebook. And I spent hours because I got on Facebook in 2009. And I would spend hours and hours and hours on Facebook making dumb comments, which I look back now and I cringe at the things I posted. Cringe. And then I would see my family and talk to my family members and looking at pictures of everybody from high school and, you know, sorority pictures and college stuff and going down memory lane. So you all know, right? I'm preaching to the choir with so many of us of how I would spend my time. And then I was saying in 2020, and then it was Instagram, hours on Instagram, and then it was TikTok. And I realized I was doing what I was telling people not to do. I was doing it just like all the rest, but not seeing that, Anna, you're doing the exact same thing you're telling your clients not to do. So about a year and a half ago, I thought this has got to stop because what's happening is I'm like crazy about my sleep, but I would notice it was like 9:45, 10, 10:15. I'll get off at 10:15. Okay, I'll get off at 10:30. Okay, I just 10:30. I'm just going to. And that was becoming a problem for me. So I told myself, Anna, you love reading. Go back to reading. So I joined Goodreads, the app Goodreads. I started following people who read on TikTok. It's #BookTalk. And they got me into reading. So this is what I do. I'm on my phone and I get off it at whatever. I mean, I try to get upstairs now at 8:30 at the latest because I want to read. So this is what's happened. I love reading. And I have these great summer beach reads. I love historical fiction. I love comedy ones. You find what works for you. If you can at least consider picking up a book, go to the library and get these books. I'm reading these New York Times bestselling books. I just read a book. Oh my gosh, I laughed so hard, but it was the most soulful book. I also cried. John Kenny Writer is who he is on Instagram. He wrote this book, I See You Called In Dead. That first chapter of that book, I have not laughed that hard. I was laughing so hard, you would think I was crying. I had tears streaming down my face. Check him out. That is one book that I read recently. I flew through it. There's so many good books out there. So all that to say, I'm going on and on and on. That's what I have done. So I read at night. And my phone is off.
Yeah.
And that's really been game changing for me. So you find what works for you. If it's reading, pick up a book. If it's not, and you're like, no, I want to be on my phone, just do it earlier in the evening. Set a timer for yourself. If it's 10 o'clock and you know it's supposed to be lights out or 11, whatever that is for you, lights out. And if not, do the if then go and then pick up a book or go work on that. I don't really want you leaving your bedroom though. And I don't want you watching television. This is the family couples therapist and me coming out. You find something else. You know, we used to always say the bedroom is for sleep, sex, and reading only. And if you have a television in your room, sorry to say, most couples therapists are not going to want you having that television in your room because it takes you away from sleep.
True.
It takes you away from sex, intimacy with your partner. That's a whole other conversation episode for another time. So find something else. For me, it's reading. You find it for you. Okay.
I like it.
All right. Okay, everyone. Mad love. I hope that this is helpful. You're not alone. We're all have struggled with this or struggling with this now. Here are your power moves to move out of revenge, bedtime procrastination, and help you get that sleep, but help you get control back to your everyday life. All right. Mad love.